Right, hi guys. I think I'm now live. I've just been chatting with Zaheer and he's having some technical issues, so he's running late. He said he's had a trip switch, so I don't know what is going on. Right, hi guys. I think I'm now live. I've just been chatting with Zaheer and need to mute the chat. Right, let me get myself organised. Open the chat up. We don't have a guest today. We had guests on the last 2 weeks. So it's just going to be Zaheer and I. Once Zaheer sorts himself out and he joins us, which should be in about 5 minutes, and we'll just wing it, see what happens. So let's see if anyone's in the chat. We've got Mythman. Hi, Mythman. Jason. Chelsea. Oh, hang on. Let me just expand this window a bit. So thanks for joining us. Like I said, Zaheer will be along hopefully in a minute once he sorts out his tech issues. Hi Richard, Adam, Southwest Sellers, the old Haggis Hunter is in. Hi, Fin Fashion Plus, Richard Hale, lots and lots of people. Hi Darren, Darren's in there. Twin Red Dragons, Silver Pirate, hi. Caroline's popped in, hi Caroline. So yeah, we don't really even have a theme. We haven't organised anything. We're just going to have a catch up. We can take some questions from the chat once we get going. Let's see if Z's responded. Waiting for router to reboot. So yeah, he's got issues. It's half term here, so we're kind of on a go slow at the moment. Ellen, our daughter, is home from school. My plan today was just to take the day off. I ended up doing some work anyway. And then tomorrow we're going out for the day. So because it's half term, there's not going to be a great deal of reselling going on. But once I've listed a few bits that I've sorted out recently, the next big thing for me is to sort out every single piece of electronics that I have in stock, get it all out, and I'm going to test the whole lot and get the whole lot listed. So that's going to be for maybe the tail end of this week and then next week. So I'm going to do some videos about that once I get it all out. And there's tons of it. There's so much of it. It's ridiculous. Let's see what's going on. Oh, Ken's in there. Hi, Ken. Good to see you, mate. Margaret. Joker. Super Cat. For those of you that have just joined, it's not just me. Well, it is at the moment. Zaheer had a bit of a tech meltdown at his end, and he's having to reboot everything. So we're going to have to wing it until he joins us. We don't have a guest on this week, unfortunately. We had guests. We had Tom on last week and Lonnie the week before. So it's just going to be the pair of us.
All right, Nick.
There he is. How you doing?
Good. Sorry about that, guys. I was just in wardrobe. You know, you can't get to look like this. Just no.
Wardrobe. Having your hair and makeup done.
Yeah. No, it wasn't that actually. As I said, just had a power switch go, and
yeah, I was sharing. With everyone what was going on, so they knew what the score was.
Yeah, what happened was I've got these this light and like one of these lamps, fluorescent lamp things, just to put some light in here, and it just dropped and popped, and then everything went off. So
oh, you smashed the bulb?
No, luckily the bulb didn't break because that can be quite harmful. I think those fluorescent ones, but it was just the bulb smashed. It broke off its plastic connector that screws into the lamp. But yeah,
right. You're with us. That's the main thing. How are you anyway? Have you had a good week since?
Yeah, I'm drinking Coke again. I stopped for 2 whole days after watching Cora's video about quitting Diet Coke.
I didn't see the video. How did she get on?
She didn't manage. She did one day, but it was too much, so she had to give up.
One day?
It's really difficult, Nick. I kid you not. This stuff is lethal. I'm trying to.
Is it the caffeine that is the addiction, or the sugar?
I don't know. I think for me, I honestly don't know. I think it's got to be the caffeine. I think I'm addicted because I can give up other stuff easier. Like I can happily go for months without eating like a Snickers bar, which is like my favorite chocolate. But Coke is, it's terrible. It's terrible. But yeah.
That's good.
Um,
Anyway, I'm glad you sorted that out, and we can crack on.
yeah.
Loads of people chatting. Let's do a few more hellos. David McGregor's in there now as well. Who else just joined? Steve. Hi, Steve. Margaret, Caroline are in there. Mark, Jason. What's Jason said there? Had my best ever sale yesterday. Hang on, I can't read the rest of it. Sold a Lego UCS ATST, £175 plus P&P. Gone on GSP. Got it in a big box of Lego for 50. Fantastic. So you had to pick all the bits out maybe and build it. If it was
That's a nice sale. Lego UCS. What is that? AT&T maybe.
ATST is a Star Wars vehicle.
Oh, okay.
Like the Chicken Walker one.
Oh, those big. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
175 quid. That is a nice sale.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Right, we've got a question. I said before you joined us that we haven't planned. We don't have a guest. We just properly have a
Chin wag.
Yeah, we'll copy.
Oh no, that's sorry, that's trademarked. Yeah. I'll talk to you about the royalty after the show.
So if there are any questions, I've just seen one which I'll read in a sec. Just pop question in capitals, and then we can pick it out easier. Oh, Steve's in there now as well. Hi, Hixie.
Steve's in there.
We'll just wing it. If any topics come up, we'll try and cover them. So Declan has said, question for both of you. What are your backgrounds career-wise?
Well, I mean, if I go first, it's always been some kind of sales job for me. I did attempt university a couple of times, but because my mind wasn't really at the right place to do university work, I just used it as a way of getting student loan money and spending it. And so that's pretty much my university career. So I didn't really have the. I'm pretty sure I could have done it, but I just didn't have the motivation to. And I've always been in sales jobs, whether that's been selling, like I started off selling like Dixon's, like electronics, and then like I've worked for like Harrods as well, where I did like high-end version of the same thing. Worked for Nestle selling chocolate, EA promoting their games, but it's always been around sales. So it's kind of just what I've always done, because it's a low barrier to entry career, isn't it? A lot of people do retail sales, and I think it's pretty good. It's helped me in the customer service side of things when it comes to selling online.
Yeah, it makes you customer centric, doesn't it? Being in retail.
Yeah. I mean, because if you can deal with people face to face, then you have it. A lot of the same things apply online, don't they? Really, when you especially when it comes to communication. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much my background on that.
Yeah, mine. I went to university. Art was my thing, so I went to art college, got my degree. And then never used it at all. And I went into retail. I worked for Dixon's at one point as well, but that was in the warehouse. I was picking and packing orders in a massive warehouse in Stevenage, and I used to work nights there. That was horrific. 12-hour shifts where I'd turn up in the dark in the morning, then leave in the dark at like 7 o'clock at night in the winter, and it just never see daylight. That was a horrific job. I had loads of different jobs in retail. Record shops, our price where I met my wife, Andrea. Worked for Virgin, worked for the electricity board for a while, had loads of jobs. I just never fitted in and just walked out. And then after we had Ellen, I joined the police force, and then I walked out of that because I was just didn't fit in. And that's the point in 2001 or 2 that we said enough's enough. We're just going to work for ourselves. Never look back. So that's me in a very quick nutshell. Let's see if we've got. The dude has some nice hair on him. I'm 31 and no hair, says Will Shop. I don't know which one of us are talking about. I think that's got to be your hair. Mine's just the usual mess on my head.
Well, I mean, I don't like to brag, but yeah, it's pretty epic. No, it's just it's just my hair.
Mine's always dry and scraggly. That's all
David
marketing.
David McGregor says, question, what did Bex and Andrea get from you lads today? Beck got nothing. So,
Man, how did you get away with that, Z?
because I just don't do it. She doesn't do it. We just don't do Valentine's Day. It's just I just don't like being dictated to. I find it I find it just such a kind of day. Like, oh, today you must be romantic to your missus. Do you know what I mean? It's like I can't be dealing with that.
Yeah, I do. I know
Yeah,
what
I
you're
do it on my terms. I just can't be dealing with all this. If people running out buying flowers, and I saw, I was at Sainsbury's buying like, just regular stuff, and then these people buying boxes of chocolate and flowers. And it's not my cup of tea. That's it. So I refuse to take part in.
We always do a bare minimum a card,
Yeah.
and then I did the flowers thing because we don't need gifts. We've got more stuff than we know what to do with. In fact, at the weekend we spent a whole day going through our kitchen and pulling everything out, and we got rid of bin bags full of crap. So we do not need stuff. So flowers is about as far as it tends to go.
Yeah, I would get flowers, but Beck's managed to kill a cactus before, so I'm always wary of that. So
I just had two kachings in a row. I'm
nice.
nice, and I had one just as I was setting up.
Cool.
It's been fairly quiet. I had a fantastic week the other week, and now, the last sort of 4 or 5 days, it's really slumped for us. And Amazon's been pretty lame as well. Have you seen sales? Okay.
I think so far we're doing okay. I mean the number of sales has been decent. I think we've sold 60 items on eBay so far this month, which for us is about like what we'd expect, like 30 odd items a week. We don't tend to ship a lot of items. But we've been shipping more lower value items rather than like the higher end stuff, because just what's selling, I suppose. It's just
similar here actually, because I've been forcing myself to go through loads and loads of stuff, and a lot of it is just low value ended up with, but I'm forcing myself to do something with it, either list it or get rid of it. So there is a lot of fairly low value stuff, and that's ticking along.
That's the thing. It's just like sometimes I get confused about this situation. Like, when you're talking about low value items, sometimes I feel like, okay, I don't want any low value stuff. I've had enough of it. Let's just get rid of it. But then the alternative is just to either give it away, just to take it down to the charity shop or whatever, give it away. But then you think about it and you're like, actually, if I did have the patience to sit there and list it all, even at £3 a pop, there's, even if after fees you're only making £1, say after all your costs, even if you're just making £1, if you've got a ton of these items, you kind of feel like, well, why not just stick it on? You've got a shop with listings anyway. What harm's it doing really? And then I think I kind of flip-flop, and then the next morning I'll be like, no, I don't want to be listing that rubbish. And then so
it comes down to whether it's worth your time to do it. And in my mind, I think I've ended up with some of this crap somehow. I might as well cash it in for something. But then when you're listing it, you're thinking, oh, why am I bothering? You see that video where I was listing individual cigarette cards on a multi-listing, and it took forever. Well, it's what that sale was. It was actually 5 items that came through at the same time off that multi-listing.
Nice.
So they're individual cigarette cards, and
bought 5 of them.
£15 worth.
Well, that's
tiny cards. So it's paying off.
Well, that's just it. I mean, today I think I had a lady pick up 5. I mean, I've slashed the price on them now just to move them out. But I've got a bunch of craft stamps. I had a lady today buy 5 off me. Which is not, again, it's only like £3 each or whatever, but it's getting them moving, and I think sometimes it's worth it. And the other thing I find is like PlayStation 2 games. Everyone knows that most of them are worth nothing, but if you trade them in, they offer you like 20-30p a game, something like that. Is that right? But if you hold out, sometimes even for the lamest titles, eventually you will pick up £4. Okay, yeah, you have to take your shipping out of that. You have to take fees out of that. But, it's like £2 after fees versus 30p. And I know it's hard to, sometimes it's hard to get excited about a £2 profit over a 30p profit or whatever, considering you can just shove it in a box and send it to Music Magpie. But I just feel that it's worth it. I mean, I think someone paid me like £5 for or £4 something for Tony Hawk skateboarding on the PS2, or someone's bought like some random, you know, really regular games for okay money.
Yeah, I cleared a stack a while back, and I was already. What I tend to do is I pull out the good stuff. Like I'll list a few Final Fantasy games or whatever out of a stack, and a Crash Bandicoot, and I'll do the rest later because they're not worth much, and I end up with it all. But
Yeah,
recently I went through a stack, and some were as low as £2.99 free shipping, where you're going to end up with just over £1.
quid. Yeah,
But the
still,
way I look at that is, I'm already in profit. I could set fire to these and I'd still be in profit. It doesn't
yeah, matter. So why not? Yeah,
cash the pile in, quick photos, quick listings. With media, it takes no time. That's the difference.
yeah,
Media, I'm much more happy to do it and make £1 or 2 on an item because you're not spending half an hour listing it, writing lots of details, taking 12 pictures.
correct. Yeah.
Put it on. So
There's no effort involved, really. Yeah, exactly. And like, I mean, I've got a stack of PS1 games like that, but they're all crap, like low value PS1 games, and all of the cases are terrible, but people still buy them, if you know what I mean. Like, you can still get money for them. I mean, I've seen people sell just the discs for like £2, and that's going to cost them what, 70p to ship, 74p to ship. So why not? I mean, I've got the manuals, I've got the sleeve cases, everything. Okay, the cases have got cracks or the hinges are broken, but part of me is thinking actually just to list those. I mean, I know you had a good success just job lotting a bunch, but I'm thinking I might actually stick them up at £3-4 each and wait for someone to buy them, because they, especially because I ship abroad as well, and I do get you do get people paying up for that.
The reason I went with a job lot on that big box of PS1 was because the condition, the cases were like yours. I'd pillaged them for cases over the space of a year or whatever. So 99% was smashed,
broken,
and then about half of the discs were scratched or damaged, manuals missing, water damage, whatever. So it was just like a real. I couldn't bear to list them individually because they were just taxed.
Yeah.
As a heap, they had some sort of value. You see what I mean? And it went surprisingly high. So
yeah. So I'm in two minds. I think I've got about 20 something or 30 something games there. I'm just not sure which route I'm going to take on those, but I've got a feeling I'm going to end up individually doing them.
Yeah, fair enough. If it's worth the time, go for it. We've got Ben Evans, happy Valentine's, you sexy sellers. Well, I'll take it.
Oh, there's a lot of comments about Valentine's. Oh, Kaz agrees with me. It bloody hates it. So Richard Hale agrees it's a rip-off. Oh, Hixie got Deb's 100 roses. Bloody hell.
Whoa.
£25 from Aldi. Boom. But still, wow.
It sounded great until you added that bit.
Yeah.
Oh, Lonnie's in there. Garage Flips. Hi, Lonnie. I'm probably way behind on this. Dallas says, I used to be addicted to Pepsi, going back to your Coke thing, but now it's calorie-free bottled tea. Calorie-free bottled tea? That doesn't sound appealing.
Is that like that Lipton? I think Lipton ice.
Oh, iced tea. When we were in America, I loved that. That was really nice. Snapple. We used to drink Snapple. Yeah. Andy Beeston. Question. Hi, guys. Have you ever bought bulk pallets to sell? I haven't. Did you experiment with that?
No, I've never bought. Are you talking about like the whole Argos auction type situation where you buy? I'm wary of pallets sometimes. I just don't know. I mean, I've had stuff delivered to me on pallets, but that's more to do with the amount of stuff I've bought from someone. They've thought it's better just to ship it on pallets, but I've never bought a pallet of like a pallet of electricals or a pallet of whatever. Just not my thing, really.
On that subject, Mark Blake says, I get bulk board game pallets, Andy. Had some serious returns. Paid £20 for the last one. Found a vintage Mahjong set that went on auction for £71 last week.
That's nice.
Excuse me. Got a cough again. Funny enough, I've got a vintage Mahjong set somewhere in this, and I've no idea what it's worth. It's really, really old.
Oh. Get it listed.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Get it listed. Maybe you should push it up the list of things to get listed.
Your headset just went.
Oh, bugger.
Oh, hang on, it sounds all right now. Say something again.
Are you sure?
It went super crackly for a second.
Did it? Okay.
Oh no, it's fucked.
Okay.
Ah, dear.
How's it now?
Yep, that sounds good.
Okay. I'm gonna have to get a new headset. I really am. I keep on saying it, but I will eventually do it. I don't want to just get a crappy old one. I want to get like a nice one. To a geeky. I like geeky headsets. You see my headset? It changes color.
Wow.
The light on it. See, that's just.
I'm trying to sound impressed here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I can choose the color as well, so I can set it to. It's really good. When it works.
It's worth the extra 20 quid or so that they charged you for them ones.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I was just saying, Richard Hale, I buy in bulk, but I buy garage stroke shed contents. But I do auto jumbles and car boot sales, not just eBay. Yeah, I suppose you'd have to sell on the amount of real crap you'd end up with buying shedfuls of junk.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. You can just buy in quantity in so many different ways. I mean, you can get job lots that go at auctions. Often every auction house will have lots where they just, have a tub of stuff and just call it, household goods and auction it off. And never know what you're going to find in those. And you could just, like you said, throughout the year, you can just pick up so much stock without job lots. I mean, you've managed to literally fill your that room there behind you. It just looks overwhelming.
I was going to say, Zaheer, I said to the guys before you joined that I've got a few more bits and bobs to list, and then it's electronics time, and I'm getting everything out and I'm testing all the electronics. So that's going to be either the end of this week or next week. So it's happening, whether I like it or not. I've said it now. So all the electronics are coming out. Be interesting.
Get it done. You've been waiting for that. So.
I found a GameCube yesterday.
You found a GameCube.
Yeah. Oh, it's not here now. It's a really grotty, manky one, and the controller's lost its pad, the top.
Oh, the rubber. Okay.
It's crap, but yeah, things like that, and a PS1 I found as well. So yeah, that'll be fun. There was a question from Lonnie somewhere. Here you go. Do you guys have a specific end game in mind when it comes to reselling? Ooh. I don't know. We had a very clear plan going back to when we had our gaming shop. It changed over the years we had it. Our initial plan was to buy a house, and then it was to buy a bigger house, and then it was to pay off the mortgage. And that was our kind of end game. And since then, which was 5 years ago or so, we've just been kind of making it up as we go along, because we essentially bought our freedom, kind of. So our end game, we don't really have an end game now. We just want to be happy and comfortable. What about yourself, Z?
We're still at the beginning of our journey in that respect. Yeah, I mean, our aim is to, not to have to work for somebody. I mean, it's that's like our immediate thing is to get to a stage where we're comfortably managing just doing reselling. At the moment, Beck still has her a few hours that she does a week, 13 hours a week job, but also still we need more income, so we need to build that up, and then eventually, yes, with that we do want to at some point look to buy a place. That would be our main goal, but if there's no end game. I think overall it's more of a lifestyle thing. It's in that sense, the end game's already been met, because we've taken the gutsy step of, trying to do this as and I keep on saying trying, because we are still trying, because it's not easy, guys. you know, anyone out there that's doing it, you all know it's not easy. There's ups and there's downs to it, but the end game, some of it is just about getting your mind strengthened enough to take this route, because the way that things are set up, it's so much more convenient to get a job which pays you a set amount and live life doing a 9 to 5. That's how things are set up for you, aren't they?
Yeah.
And maybe that's probably part of the reason why I'm kind of against things like Valentine's, or not against, but just I don't see the you know, I see my wife whenever I want. We see her all the time. We're happy. We get to spend loads of time together. So it kind of just you know doesn't do it. So
It's that rebel in you, you see. It's that
I just maybe, yeah, maybe it's just not liking being dictated to in that
Absolutely.
sense.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
But you know, my balls wouldn't be in a good state if I didn't get at least get a card. That's how it is in this house.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, actually, while we're talking about that, because I'm going on a green room hangout with Steve Rakin. He invited me on, which is actually going to be tomorrow. But funnily enough, I misread the times, and I think they're broadcasting at 9 o'clock their time, which makes it 2 in the morning here.
Oh wow.
Luckily for me, I'm a night owl anyway, so I'd probably be up anyway. So I'm still going to do it. And he sent me through a list of questions, and what we just touched on about having goals and being at different points on your journey. I think Steve and I are very far apart in where we're at, because if you've ever watched Steve Rakin's videos, which are fantastic, he's all about the motivation and expanding and growing and making as much money as you possibly can and la la la. And that was me 10 years ago. And I worked way harder. I was obsessed. It was all about the money, and it was all about being the biggest and the best and building this shop to be crazy big. And we ended up being a slave to the wage, kind of in our own little world. You see what I mean? And now it's way more about, I don't know, much more subtle things about being happy and doing as much as we need to and enjoying it. So it's going to be an interesting chat, I think, because Steve's coming at the whole reselling from bigger, better, faster, more, and I'm kind of.
But it's whatever makes you happy, though, isn't it? I think that some people thrive off that. You know, some people will thrive off the numbers. Some people will thrive off, you know, seeing their business continually growing. You know, for some people, they need that. I mean, it's the reason why. I suppose it's the reason why even millionaires work, you know, probably harder than any of us do, because even though they're millionaires, that's not the point, is it? It's the point is they love what they do to the extent that it's made them whatever money, and they continue to do it. I mean, I often, as much as he's a despised character amongst many quarters, I often look at people like Rupert Murdoch, and I think the guy is in his mid-80s. He's a multi-billionaire. He's one of the most powerful men on the planet, etc., etc. But put all of that to the side, and I'm quite a liberal person, so I'm not like a fan of him naturally, but you've got to respect that mindset that, you know, he's got a son who's probably desperate. I mean, look at the Queen as well. You know, she's just clinging on. She's like, you know what, Charles, you can just wait, you know. You know, she's just like, she doesn't care. She doesn't need to do this. She could have, you know, stepped down and everyone would still love her. She could have, you know, passed on the throne, or, you know, same with Rupert. Rupert Murdoch could have handed it over to someone else. But, you know, there's something that drives those people to continue to work. You know, and I'd even go as far as to say even Donald Trump. I mean, he doesn't need to do what he's doing. Really, he didn't need to take that step. I mean, I don't want to go into that kind of stuff, but I'm just saying that some people, I suppose, are motivated by different things. That doesn't do it for me.
I admire that, and that,
yeah.
like I said,
you can admire it, yeah.
And I can see that over a 10-year space of time, my priorities and my goals changed as we kind of ticked off certain things as well, and realized we'd spent pretty much a decade working flat out. For us, it was like, and then again, ironically, we then again tried again and then set up another retail outlet. See, it's not gone, but we're slowly adjusting our priorities, I think, with perhaps more accurate.
Yeah. Well, that's just that you can admire it, but it's not for everybody. Like I would say for me as well, it's not. I can't see myself wanting to just be that motivated in that area. I am motivated, but by other things. I mean, we've recently started going for I say this holding a sugary drink in mind, but we've started going for like morning walks as a family, like waking up at 6 a.m. and going on like proper long walks. And it's tough, but I want to achieve that kind of stuff as well. I want to get my health in order. I want to, there's a lot of things that and this lifestyle allows us to do that. It's just really cool. I mean, yeah, it's just what different people want different things, I suppose.
Absolutely. I'm way behind on the chat in here. Let's see where we were. Right, so we did Lonnie's question. I might have to whiz past. Jason says Art Price was a great record shop. I spent so much of my youth in Art Price, and I was so happy when I got a job there. That was like my dream at that moment in my life. I'm working in a record shop that I love. So happy with that job.
Silver Pirate says 28-year-old wives with big boobs keeps them working. I don't know if I don't think that's their motivation, but you have to appreciate what those guys do. Not necessarily what they do, but you have to appreciate their work ethic. I should clarify.
Oh, there's so much chat. I am.
Oh, you're way behind. Yeah. Caroline says numbers motivate me. Watching sales increase and numbers go up make me want to work harder. Money may not be happiness, but it buys freedom and choices. Yep, definitely. You have to bear that in mind. Darren says bought his first ever single in Our Price, and it was Shaggy's "Oh Carolina." Do you remember that? Oh,
Well, that makes me feel old that was the first single. David
McGregor says Shaggy is the greatest rapper of all time. I think that's an opinion. Yes, we'll leave it at that. I don't even think he's a rapper, but okay. I think he's saying that on purpose to be controversial. Bonafide Hustler says, "Us up to people in the feed. Welcome to the chat."
Chris, I didn't realize he was in there.
Father Sunglasses asks, question, how long did it take you guys to build up a decent inventory?
Very little time, actually. I'd honestly say. I mean, when we started doing this full time back in about 2002, it was easier to find good quality stock. eBay was in its complete infancy. Very few people were doing it. I could wander around a boot sale at the end of the day and still pick up, like Super Nintendo games and stuff. It was that worlds apart from where we are now. And we'd go out and fill up the car, and we wouldn't even turn up at the boot sales at the beginning. You know what I mean? It's night and day. So we had no trouble filling our first rented house up with crap, and we were both selling it full time, and earning a full-time living for two of us, and we still built up and a backlog. So we've never had a problem finding stuff.
I mean, even now, that's the thing. I mean, like Beck's only been running her shop now for like a little over a month and a bit, and she's already got over 200 items. Admittedly, they're not like SNES games or high value, fast moving items, all of them, but you can easily build an inventory up. It doesn't take much. But the key is to obviously make sure that it's balanced with the right amount of fast moving items, slow moving items. I'm not sure what the right amount is. That's like the fun part. That's what you have to find out, what the fast moving items are, what the slow moving items are, what are the items that you never want to touch with a 30-foot barge pole again, or what are the items that you want to be jumping on the next time you see them. So and that's the tricky part. The inventory is the easy part. I've got an inventory as well. I mean, it didn't take much effort, and it's just I've realised now some of it's absolute rubbish and some of it's pretty good.
Absolutely,
I've still got the rubbish listed. It's in some hope.
There was a question, I think he's asked it twice now. What would you ever consider paying someone to come to your house and list all of your items for you? For me, no.
No.
Not going to happen.
No.
Having somebody in your house. I've had employees when we've had retail outlets, and that's one thing. And actually, your shop ends up feeling like part of your home anyway. It feels very personal space after time, and that can have issues itself. Trusting someone enough to come into your business, let alone somebody to be invited into your house and working with you. And no, it wouldn't work at all. for me.
There's a quality comment from Graham Nichols. He says Nick is the greatest rapper. 70 parcels a day. You know, we're talking
Yeah.
about yes.
If you're talking sticky tape and brown paper, that's me.
Someone's mentioned KRS-One. Wow, cool.
KRS-One, wow.
Yes, yeah. Going back,
he's still busting out tunes.
I honestly don't know, but I do remember. Yeah. Let's have a look. What else? Question.
I'll quickly just read out Caroline's comment. Take it all back about Valentine's Day. My other half has just come home with a bottle of tequila and some limes. Yeah, fun times down in Devon. Sorry, what question were we going to say?
The Hillsman 25 asks Nick, what is in that mystery red box on the top shelf? Is it a box of gold?
I think that's electronic stuff in there. That's part of the huge electronics purge I'm having next week.
Okay.
I'll say it again now. This has to happen.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. David McGregor asks, have you seen the reseller rally being organized in the US? It looks amazing. Wish there was a UK one.
No, it's the first I've heard of that.
Well, I think it's Golden Finger Picker Chad and Ronnie Hart and Craigslist Hunter, and I think Nicole State as well, and there may be other people, and I think they've actually clumped together and they've organized like an event where not like I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I think people are just going to go there and they're just going to talk and chat. It's not going to be mega formal from what I can tell from what they've been saying, but it's like $120 a ticket to cover the costs because they've said they're not making any money out of it. They've literally priced it as cheaply as they could, but it's going to cost people $120.
So they're hiring a venue then?
They've hired a venue. Yeah, they've got it's all set up. It's all
See,
quite pro.
That's the contrast. Our idea of a meetup was getting together and seeing the inside of pubs.
But yeah,
that was it.
It's a bit different.
And going to the boots out hungover.
I think it does look good. I mean, as to a UK one, God knows. Let's have a look. Silver Pirate says, I'm trying to make space ready for car boot season, but I keep filling it up, popping in the charity shop when I go to the post office. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you're going to be popping into the charity shop daily, you're always going to be finding stuff. But I would say keep finding stuff. If there's one thing I've come to realize recently is no amount of inventory is enough. It's always good to have more. So
I thought he meant that he was taking stuff out and slowly getting rid of stuff to the charity shop. I've been doing a bit of that.
No, he keeps filling it up.
I've found a couple of crates that are just I'm getting rid stuff that is just not even worth messing about with.
Kevin Rosen asks, any boot sales on near Blackpool Z will be there this weekend? I honestly don't know. I don't think there are any at the moment. I believe that they're starting around April time. So, it's a reseller business conference, basically, says David McGregor. So it's like a business conference. So there's been a lot of chat about who the greatest rapper is. There's all kinds of chat going on in there. David Bendick. Oh, go on.
I was going to just read one. Silver Hair Stacker. If you guys move to the United States, do you think you would make more or less? That's so hard to say. I've got no experience of the American market. Who knows? I don't know. It'd be a lovely adventure to try. I'd have a good go.
I think you'd make enough definitely to survive, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
As a bare minimum, you'd make. I'm pretty sure you would. I mean, I
really believe that business itself, it comes down to the person. So you should be able to take somebody who's a successful entrepreneur and has that mindset and put them pretty much anywhere, and they'll adapt to what it is. It may not even be reselling. Perhaps I'd have to do something else. But I have a certain amount of faith in myself that I could make money if you put me most places. So yeah, it'd be interesting. I'd love to give it a go. I love America. I've been a few times, and it's just I love the place. So yeah, interesting thought.
Yeah, I'd love to go as well. I've never been, but I'd love to.
Oh, you'd
I'd
love
love to. Yeah, it's one of those. I've always wanted to just to go on like a man versus food tour. That would be my aim to go down and have like some really crazy sandwiches and just I don't know, plus do a bit of other stuff, but that
it.
would be really cool.
It's so vast. I mean, when we went and we did the road trip, it's like going through 10 different countries because it's so vast.
Yeah.
The states are so different and they have their own individual kind of identity, especially from one side, from Florida to California, they're so different. And
Yeah.
that was fun.
That's what I'd like to see, just how different everyone is, like
Yeah.
just the way things are done. Because, like you said, it is so huge. People are going to be completely different from one end to the other.
Yeah.
I love watching Casey Neistat's vlogs. He's always flying all over the place, and he lives in New York. It's so awesome.
Yeah. Oh, it makes me want to go back now.
Silverhead Stacker says, thanks for the answer, but if you haven't been to Texas, you've not been to the US.
Oh, I've been to Texas.
So, yeah, there you go.
I remember San Antonio. That was a cool place. It's got this river that runs around the middle of the city, but it's sunken down. You can walk around. That was really nice. And we went to the Alamo there. Yeah.
Cool. Adam says he's hoping to go to Vegas next year. Fabian mentioned that has anyone else noticed charity shop prices, which is like an old chestnut now. But there is obviously some truth behind it. Nigel says, "Yep, Fabian, I noticed most board games had an average of an extra £1 on them today. May have been a half-term thing, not sure." I think with and Fabian's again, yeah, it's ridiculous. I think with charity shops, it's just it's going to happen this way. I mean, just today, I've kind of had my own little chat with someone at a charity shop local to me, and you can't argue with why they're doing it. They're told to make the most that they can out of items. They all know how to research their items. So at the end of the day, they're running retail stores. So people bring in charitable donations, and it's the people that work in the charity shop's job to maximize what they get. It would be wrong of them to let great items come in and then sell them for £1. It would just be wrong of them. They wouldn't be doing their job, and they'd be letting their charity down. So yeah, prices are going up.
I really think it was inevitable. If you look at retail in general, obviously HMV and Virgin, all of those sort of stores, they cottoned onto online years ago because they had to. Big business, and charity shops are kind of lagging 10 years behind, but they're all realizing, hang on, eBay exists, hang on, Amazon exists, and if they're only checking prices, that's the first step, isn't it? And we see a lot of that. We've all seen this sells for £100 on eBay, and they're like, when I saw those games consoles in Luton in a window, £100 odd for a SNES, etc. But I think it's only going to evolve, and I think all of the major charities will end up with eBay branches, eBay shops, and selling on Amazon or whatever.
And in a way, rightly so. I mean, that's what the lady said. I mean, if something good comes in, they do have eBay stores. Obviously, they'd prefer to sell it in the shop, but even when they sell on eBay, I think that they're exempt from the eBay fees as well. Selling if they're a charity, I think the charity accounts might have like a deal there or something where they don't get charged.
I think they certainly get it on a lesser rate, if not free.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's time to just kind of acknowledge that change and just accept it for what it is. I mean, look for different ways of sourcing if it's causing a problem. But I find that you just have to look somewhere different. So in the same charity shop that something that you want that's overpriced, 9 times out of 10 in another area of the charity shop on another, another part of the charity shop where you normally don't look, or it might not be your speciality, there's probably something that hasn't been priced to the max. So it's always worth looking. I mean, this charity shop that I'm talking about, I could easily go in there and complain, oh wow, you're charging so much for your retro toys, but they also have a rail of £1 clothes priced at £1. So there's money there. You just have to look. I just want to go back to David Fendick's question, because I did start reading it, and he said I started reading it and then I stopped.
Yeah,
He says he wants to step up to FBA, and he's not sure what software to use to print labels. Could you do a vid sometime? So he just wanted to kind of put that out there. So I mean, I don't know if you've got that.
Someone asked me that recently. I don't know if it was David, but you don't need any extra software. Until recently, I didn't even have a laser printer. I just had a really old Canon inkjet. And within the FBA, I won't go into details, but you set up your order or your box of stuff you're going to send up, and then you tell Amazon what size labels you have, and you click go pretty much, and it prints direct through any printer you've got, prints out the labels. You don't need any extra software. It's all worked out within the FBA stuff on the site. Does that explain it? I don't think, or not in my experience, you need any extra software.
I mean, see, £400 and down says, but remember, charity shops exist to provide cheap things to those that aren't fortunate locally too. I'm not sure that's the case anymore. I think they exist solely to make the most money for their cause. And I think that's borne out by, if you look at how they're refitting them to make them more attractive, to make them more shoppable. I think the days of that old kind of charity shop where everything was just randomly strewn everywhere and you could just go in and pick through it and get things for whatever price.
You're absolutely right. I mean, we've all seen that they've kind of come of age, and it's been led by the big ones, Oxfam, etc., who their stores are fitted as plush as any other high street brand these days. But
completely.
20 years ago they were smelly, musty, dirty places. Now they all have regional managers and head offices, and it's run as a business. And don't ever imagine they're not run as a business, because that's exactly what they are. Yes, they are supporting charities, but it's still a business. And this whole charities using eBay and Amazon is only just beginning. I really think that's, they're only just starting to tap into that.
Kath says they do get charged, apparently, the charity shops, for selling on eBay.
Right.
Apparently there's a special branch which deals with disbursements to charities, and eBay do take their cut from it. So yeah, I mean, it's something just not to get. It's one of those situations where you want to say, don't get mad, get even. And what I mean by that isn't to go in and rob them or anything. What I mean by that is look at alternative places, because there might be house clearance shops around you. There may be like second-hand goods stores around you. I mean, if you look at the States, and you mentioned that you're going on Steve Rakin's show. He's done pretty well talking about, and not just him, obviously, Craigslist Hunter. A lot of resellers go in, well, not a lot actually, but resellers are starting to also go into pawn shops. So, to find deals. So it's one of those things that, you just have to look at alternative options.
The whole thing is continually evolving. Even just buying from the general public, that has changed in the last 10 years, because eBay is, everyone knows what it is. Everybody has access to it now. It's not a frightening thought to sell something online. It is still to a certain percentage, but the next up and coming generation, they've grown up with it. My daughter, your daughter's generation, selling on eBay, it's like everyone does that, don't they? There's going to be no fear. And that, talking about barriers to entry, as we were earlier with jobs, selling on eBay, all you need is a phone that everybody has now, and you're there.
Exactly.
So the game is changing, and unfortunately, moving forward, dare I say it, it's going to become harder and harder to find good stuff at boot sales, because why would you take that Super Nintendo to a boot sale if you can put it on eBay? You're still relying on people not knowing the value of stuff, and I think that is evolving as well, and it's only ever going to change.
Well, I think it will evolve. Yeah, I think it doesn't. I don't think it necessarily. I think all it will mean is that boot sale prices might jump up, and there are always going to be people that want just to get rid of stuff. There's always going to be a demographic out there that find the thought as easy as eBay is. Just the thought of packaging something, that's the key. I think that's what puts people off. It's not that the barrier to entry is now moved from the difficulty of listing to can I be bothered to package this and ship this?
Yeah,
You know, so you might have a Super Nintendo, you might have anything, but people don't want to ship stuff, and that's not going to change because work is involved. So
yeah,
luckily, as long as there's work involved at some point in the journey from the picking an item up and selling it, as long as there's work involved at some point, there's only so much the companies can do to make it easier. There's only so much. I mean, you still have to ship the item, package it and ship it,
yeah.
and provide that service.
Even resellers that we all know,
Don't
moan
want to
about
ship.
having to package stuff and moan about having to, because it's work. So yeah, you are right.
And I love hearing that as well. I love hearing it, especially from resellers when they say, "I don't sell that because I don't want to ship it." I'm like, "Great,
Yeah.
because I will."
And what I was saying before, it honestly wasn't doom and gloom, because I'm not scared of change, and I'm not scared of things evolving, because in the time from when I started doing this full time to now, it's changed beyond recognition in some aspects, and I'm still perfectly fine. You see what I mean? So you don't have to get scared of change or be like, oh my God, what if this happens? Because there'll be other ways.
Well, I mean, exactly. I mean, it's a great testament to attitude. Like you said yourself, it's a completely different. You can either see something as worse or better, or you can see it as different. You said earlier on that you used to be able to walk around at the end of a boot sale and pick up Super Nintendo games. Now, to a lot of resellers now, that would sound like alien talk.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's true. I remember going to boot sales before, because I used to go to boot sales all the time anyway, like for fun. And I used to buy consoles and things. People couldn't give away GameCubes. Literally, they couldn't give them away. There were so many GameCubes, and literally, I think it was £2 was the average you'd pay for a GameCube. Like, if that. I mean, pound was quite common. It was, pound. It was. That was the world.
What the thing that got me into reselling and introduced me to eBay in the first place was going to boot sales. When I first learned to drive, this was like 97 or something. I first started driving to boot sales. I had the freedom. I didn't have to rely on public transport or my mum and dad. So there I was at boot sales, and just about every week I would pick up one or two Game and Watches, and that was pretty much the sole reason I was going, was to buy Game and Watches. Now you're lucky to find one a year, and they're worth
if that.
hundreds in some cases.
Yeah,
that makes for me the change from the late 90s to now. Those items, A, they've all been snaffled up by collectors anyway, and B, people know what they are.
But again, it's the attitude thing, rather than you saying, "Oh, it's all," or you can either be like those guys. Oh God, you remember on Monty Python, the Yorkshireman? When I were a lad, you can, you can either be like that and just cry about how things were and, oh, it's all changed now, it's terrible, or like yourself, you don't see it as that. You see it as it's just change. And you know what, guys, it's going to change again. Like you said, it's going to change again. It's going to become, charity shops are only going to get better at searching on eBay. They've got, for God's sakes, they've now got departments specifically catered to listing on eBay, etc. So it's only going to get more difficult. But the idea is, and the fun of it all is to find a new way to make money, and there will always be a way. It's just embracing the fact that nothing stays the same.
I think part of it because I have been doing it that long. You just learn that you just have to roll with the punches. It's just another, oh, okay, this is how it is now, and it's like, yeah, you learn to just get on with it. I think it sounds brutal, but that's all it is.
Exactly. I think that's the bottom line.
Hixie says you can still walk around at the end of a boot sale and pick up stuff that's worth a ton of money. Well, there you go. It's just about expanding what you're looking for. See what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Um, not sure I understand that. Silver Pilot question: what is the equivalent £1 GameCube now item that I can stockpile for later? I said this before. The trouble with the console games market is that collecting console games is now a big mainstream hobby. So it's all getting snapped up, and everybody's thinking forward. Everybody's collecting the limited editions. Everybody's collecting the edition with a figure and keeping it sealed. You see what I mean? It's like the Star Wars issue. Star Wars games weren't collected the first time round, or that might have been collected by 1%. By the time the next batch of films came around, all the 30-year-olds were collecting them, and all the kids were collecting them because their dad said, keep that in the box.
Yep.
It's all changed. So
yeah,
what I would suggest is don't look at video games. Look at something that nobody else is giving a toss about now. But 10 years' time, they will want to buy them again.
But the other side of it as well, though, is I've talked about this before.
Oh, you've got
as well.
Dalek, mate. You've
okay.
got
I've gone Dalek. Okay, bear with me.
Oh, you didn't get that Dalek helmet thing, did you? The add-on bit.
Hello, yeah. No, that's what I was talking to the lady in the charity shop about, was because I said to her, look, I really just want that part now. But she's going to check to see if they can get the helmet they've got working. And if they can get it working, they're going to just ask like 50 quid for it or whatever. So my best hope is if it doesn't work, which I kind of want it to work for them, because then obviously they can make more money out of it. I'd rather it work for them, because I'm only going to just cannibalize it anyway. So my hope is they can't fix it in a bad way, and then I can just have the bit, and then I won't feel bad about the helmet not working because it's not working. But yeah, I mean, what was I going to say? Yeah, like the other part about this whole thing about what's valuable, etc., is it always makes me laugh, like how people get much happier. People are happier to find things that they like. It's natural, right? So if you're a gamer, you're obviously going to be ecstatic when you find I don't know, like a SNES game that's worth 30 quid for a pound at a boot fair. Now, the things to look at are, how often are you going to find a SNES game that's worth £30 for a pound at a boot fair? Okay, not very often. Second thing to look at, how much profit is actually that? £1 to £30 is good. It's about 20-25 quid profit, right? After you've paid your fees and shipping. Then you start thinking, hold on, there's a gazillion mundane, boring, everyday items that will bring you back way more profit than that. That, you know, that you could be clothes, you could look at footwear, you could look at household electronics, you could look at anything. There's so many items that just because they're not Zelda doesn't make them any less valuable. But the thing is, Zelda's rare on SNES or whatever. I don't know, like whatever you want to talk about. A video game is seen as rare, whereas I don't know, like a Nike hoodie isn't seen as rare. However, you can get Nike hoodies for 50p at a boot fair and flip them for 20 quid every day, regularly. It's not hard. So it's that kind of thing. I always find that interesting, that people like to look out for these rare video games, but they don't come up that often. And even when they do, the profit's not incredible, is it? It's not like,
yeah.
Obviously it is in a percentage terms, but money terms.
Yeah, it is fascinating, and that kind, what you just explained, kind of mirrors Ben's story completely, because Ben Fitzpatrick got into this trying to go to boot sales and find rare games. Now he funds buying his rare games by picking up other people's books, clothes. Well, he's not really into clothes actually, but yeah, just general household tat.
Which makes him enough money that he can just go on eBay and pay the inflated prices.
Buy sealed stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're right. It's about expanding your mind to it. And when we're all doing that, or I think we should all be doing that on a daily basis, I still hear about new products and or find new products myself all the time.
Yeah.
How are we doing for time? Oh, we've been going nearly an hour. Yeah. See if we've got any more questions in here. Darren's got a question for you. Z, have you tried contacting the manufacturer of the Dalek helmet for the missing part? I did this with Tommy recently, who sent me a freebie. Darren's so good at just going straight to the source.
That's pretty good, actually. That's a good idea. I've not thought of that.
Wow.
I'll have to check if they're still doing their thing, character options, but that might be worth doing. Ping them an email. No.
So, Silver Pilot, the daughter has just had a pizza delivered instead of flowers for Valentine's Day from her boyfriend. I want to date him too now.
That's fair enough. Well, that's a practical gift there, you know.
This is how romantic we are. Andrea's gone off to visit her nan this evening. So I'm just left rattling around talking to Zaheer on Valentine's. We've only got each other, buddy. That's it.
Oh, that's it, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Good Used Good says, that's how eBay started for me, collecting video games. Yep, same here. Now it has blossomed into an almost full-time thing. Yeah, so it's a lot of people's entry point, isn't it? For a certain aged men, we get into it because we want to be children again and play Super Nintendo games. And then we realized, hey, we can make money.
Stephen Whiteling says, I want to see some breast friends. What's a guy got to do? See, that's the thing. That's actually quite funny because that's exactly the kind of item. I mean, that's high profit. The breast friend was, I don't know if you remember, I picked up this like feeding pillow.
Right. Yeah,
like,
I didn't know what he was talking about then.
Yeah, this like weird shaped feeding pillow. And it was like £3, and it was just sat there, you know, and because it's not, I suppose, seen necessarily in the same light as something else. So
well, that's like this thing, which I found again the other day, but I didn't even know what it was when I picked it up. This is a breast pump.
Oh right.
But apparently, I think Fake Rachel sold one for like 30 or 35,
Nice.
I think. And that was just to fill a bag jumble sale pickup, so it owes me like 50p or something. Yeah, at those prices, we were just picking up anything that looked like it might be something.
Jimmy White has tugged a heartstring for me. So Retro Vintage 65 is his username now. Forget the NES, going on the Amiga and play Cannon Fodder. What a tune. Yes, Cannon Fodder on the Amiga with that song. That was it stuck in your head. It borrowed into your head. That war never been so much fun. It was like all muffled because it was playing from a disc. It was low bitrate audio. It was amazing. And I used to love goal scoring Superstar Hero and Sensible World of Soccer as well. That was like one of the best tunes ever. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Cannon Fodder.
I was all about the Atari ST.
Oh, it was all Amiga.
Xenon 2. I love the soundtrack to that. Bomb the Bay.
I've always been quite obsessive when it comes to games, and literally, I remember I used to leave my Amiga on, and Sensible World of Soccer was always loaded up anyway. So when I got home from school, I would just have to switch the TV on, and I didn't have to load it up again. So I just played.
Bugger.
Yeah, I was all about Sensible World of Soccer, and I used to play it on a Mega Drive pad because I kept on breaking joysticks. They were just terrible, the quality of them, and obviously the Mega Drive pad was insane, and it worked. You know, it was just awesome for. I was
really having those Kempston quick shots that would sit in the palm of your hand.
Yeah,
they were epic.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's it. We've got a whole other channel on this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Darren says loves a bit of Sensi, curling the goal in top corner, definitely. Getting the curl going, it was amazing, definitely.
I was never big into sports games, but one that I absolutely loved on the Super Nintendo was Super Tennis. And you could do spin shots and slice.
Yeah, Super Tennis was.
I owned that game, like proper, killed it. I just beat the whole thing, and it was like so happy.
I remember I used to go to the arcade as well, like when Street Fighter Third Strike came out.
Yeah.
That was just so awesome. And it was about the time where all the Virtua games were coming out from Sega as well, like Virtua Tennis and Crazy Taxi Arcade as well came out. It was a lot of fun.
We went up to London to the Trocadero to do Virtua Fighter when that came out, and there were queues to get on it. And when they had Daytona, this must have been like 90.
Oh yeah, Daytona.
maybe a bit later. But yeah, and a whole bank of about 10 Daytona machines. Sorry, Monty's just left the door open.
That's okay. But yeah, I mean, it's just something to. I started just selling board games. No, I sell anything. Says Bright Side eBay reseller. Now I sell anything. Yeah, I mean, everyone starts from a single point quite often. Just what the way it works. Graham Nichols sells whilst refurbishing N64s. He's become addicted to Diddy Kong Racing.
All right. I was just reading Jason and Twistle. My first computer was a ZX81. Mine was 48K plus Sinclair Spectrum. That was my first. Well, we had one of those Pong machines.
Yeah. I had an Amstrad CPC 464 with a 3-inch floppy disk and a green monitor. Green. I didn't get the color monitor. I had to settle for the green screen. But yeah, it was good. So that was my first computer.
I vividly remember my mate had the Rubber Keys Spectrum, and we used to go around and we'd play. Oh my god, what was the game called? Was it Jet Set Willy? I think it was Jet Set Willy, or the sequel to it or something. And it's so addictive. Fantastic.
Yeah.
See, we used to have a gaming channel. We might actually get some serious views on that.
136 live viewers.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Exactly.
Right, well, I think we'll have to wrap this up for this week very soon. If you did enjoy the chat and enjoyed hanging with us, please give us a thumbs up. We're currently on 30, so show us some thumbs up action. See what happens. Yeah. No, it's not moving.
It will. Smash the like button, guys. There you go. It's starting to go.
Oh,
starting to go.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow and chatting with Steve.
Raking profit will say it, I'm sure.
I said to you, I'm slightly nervous. I don't know if it's just going to be me and Steve or a whole of the.
Well, if it's the green room hangout, it tends to be the bunch of them, doesn't it? It tends to be like all of them, whoever. So it should be good.
I'll be the only Brit in the room.
Yeah, they've got all their cool intros as well, so they'll tell you who they are.
Oh, I've got to come up with something slick.
I don't know.
Hi, I'm Nick. Welcome to the Tat Cave.
Yeah, yeah, that'll do.
That might be it.
So when is it?
Well, it's tomorrow, but I got the times muddled up, and I'm pretty sure because they're going live at 9.
Yeah,
9
2 a.m.
So it's 2 a.m. for me.
2 a.m. when? Like tomorrow, as in Wednesday night or Tuesday night?
Ooh.
Is it 2 a.m. tonight? What's the time? I don't know.
I better message him again.
Yeah, but they've probably said it live on their channel anyway, haven't they?
Yeah.
He's probably he's not like you. He would have put like a live. He's organized, so he would have said, you know what I'm saying. He would have put like a live. Thing ages ago. So
it's going to be interesting. That some of the questions were about what systems do you have in place to ensure this, that, and the other, and I'm going to be like, not really the person to ask. It's going to be great. Anyway, thanks for popping in, guys. Everyone's saying goodbye. So appreciate you all coming in. We'll be back next week. Don't have a guest sorted out yet, but we may be able to find somebody to come and join us. Thanks.
It'll just be us two. Yeah. Thanks everyone for watching. So appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, Chucky Egg. That was it. Chucky Egg.
Chucky Egg.
We used to play. I used to play Chucky Egg, the first one on the BBC microcomputer. That was epic. Oh my god, I loved that. I played that in primary school on the.
What about this one? Chubby Gristle.
That sounds so wrong.
I know. It has to be the best game ever. It's called Chubby Gristle. It's yeah.
I've got a Spectrum as well.
That's an Amstrad game though. That's an Amstrad.
Oh, is it? I've got a Spectrum, one of the later ones, +2 or 3 or something, and I've got the game, so I need to dig that out and test it. I'll lose a whole day though. You know what I mean? If I set a Spectrum up, that's it. Day gone.
That's it. Gone. Yeah.
Anyway, we've started waffling again. What does Adam say quickly? Nick, if Little Mix can crack America, I'm sure you'll be fine. Not quite sure I have the appeal. You're not the same appeal anyway.
That's fantastic. I like that I like that logic.
Yeah. Right, brilliant. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for here, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you later.
Take it easy.